I hereby call this special meeting of June 18th, 2024 to order. Will the clerk please do a roll call?
Mayor Bag,
Here.
Vice Mayor Edwards,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Crawford,
Here.
Councilmember Finn,
Here.
Councilmember Patena,
Here.
Councilmember Dunn,
Here.
Councilmember Schaefer is absent. Vice Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Our only item on the agenda today is to call for an executive session. Do I have a motion to enter into executive session?
So moved.
Do I have a
Second.
Please vote.
Vice Mayor, Mayor Beck, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilmember Dunn, how do you vote?
And was she a no?
Sorry, can you guys vote again?
I vote yes.
I vote yes.
Vote pass.
Motion carries. We are now adjourned to executive session.
Tactical gear to
Meet your Peoria Mayor and City Council.
military and
Meet your Peoria Mayor and City Council.
Mayor Jason Beck was elected to a 4-year term in November 2022 and was sworn into office in January 2023. Mayor Beck is a Marine Corps veteran and is the founder and CEO of TIER Tactical, a Peoria-based business that provides body armor and tactical gear to military and first responders worldwide. His focus is on growing economic development citywide, strengthening public safety, and securing Peoria's water future and infrastructure. He is a husband and father to 6 boys.
Councilmember Bill Patena was first elected to the City Council to represent the Ironwood District in 2012 and was re-elected in 2016 and 2020. Councilmember Patena spent the last 18 years of his professional career with the City of Peoria as the Neighborhood Services Manager. In his ongoing service to the city, he maintains a strong interest in building and maintaining healthy neighborhoods and serves as the council liaison to the Veterans Memorial Board. The Patena family has lived in Arizona for over 30 years, with more than 20 of those in Peoria.
Mesquite District Councilmember Brad Schaefer was appointed to the City Council in April 2022 and was elected to the seat by the voters in November that same year. He previously served on the Peoria Planning and Zoning Commission and was the chair for both of the city's Bond Advisory and Charter Review Committees. Schaefer is also a U.S. Air Force veteran. He has earned his Master's of Business Administration, a bachelor's degree in Healthcare Administration, and has over 25 years of experience in the healthcare industry. He and his family enjoy spending time at Lake Pleasant or hiking the beautiful trails of Peoria.
Jennifer Crawford was elected in November 2022 to serve the Acacia District. She was also appointed to serve a 1-year term as Mayor Pro Tempore in January 2024. She has more than 30 years of business and marketing experience in the private sector. With an emphasis in sales and management, she has operated small businesses, a nonprofit organization, and is currently self-employed as a consultant. With Old Town Peoria within her district, she is passionate about the revitalization of downtown. Her family has lived in Peoria since 2004, with her children attending Zuni Hills Elementary School and graduating from Liberty and Sunrise Mountain High Schools.
Palo Verde Councilmember Michael Finn was elected to City Council in 2014 and re-elected in 2018 and 2022. As a former chief financial officer for the Peoria Unified School District, Finn was responsible for making sound fiscal policies that contributed to the district's success. He also brings over 20 years of additional leadership experience from his time with United Parcel Service and U.S. Airways. His family has lived in Peoria for more than 2 decades and enjoys engaging with the community.
Danette Dunn, who has lived in the Pine District since 2005, was elected by the voters during a special election held in August 2019 to serve on City Council. She was re-elected for a second 4-year term in January 2023 and previously served as vice mayor. Dunn is focused on transportation management and economic development growth for our city. She is the founder of an environmental consulting agency which connects businesses with environmental stewardship, awareness, and social responsibility. She also served in government relations for Republic Services.
Willow District Councilmember John Edwards was first elected in 2012 and re-elected in 2016 and 2020. He is currently serving a term as vice mayor and previously served as mayor pro tempore in 2023. He has served as a program and project manager for a computer services company for nearly 30 years. Edwards serves on a number of boards and committees, including the Maricopa Association of Governments Transportation Policy Committee, the Valley Metro Board of Directors, and the National League of Cities Community and Economic Development Committee. In previous years, he was involved with organizations including Westmark and Homeless Youth Connection. His family has lived in Peoria since 2001, and he believes in open communication and engaging with residents to keep them involved in important city decisions. The City Council meeting will begin shortly. Thank you for watching.
Meet your Peoria Mayor and City Council.
Mayor Jason Beck was elected to a 4-year term in November 2022 and was sworn into office in January 2023. Mayor Beck is a Marine Corps veteran and is the founder and CEO of Tier Tactical, a Peoria-based business that provides body armor and tactical gear to military and first responders worldwide. His focus is on growing economic development citywide, strengthening public safety, and securing Peoria's water future and infrastructure. He is a husband and father to 6 boys.
Councilmember Bill Patena was first elected to the City Council to represent the Ironwood District in 2012 and was re-elected in 2016 and 2020. Councilmember Patena spent the last 18 years of his professional career with the City of Peoria as the Neighborhood Services Manager. In his ongoing service to the city, he maintains a strong interest in building and maintaining healthy neighborhoods and serves as the council liaison to the Veterans Memorial Board. The Patena family has lived in Arizona for over 30 years, with more than 20 of those in Peoria.
Mesquite District Councilmember Brad Schaefer was appointed to the City Council in April 2022 and was elected to the seat by the voters in November that same year. He previously served on the Peoria Planning and Zoning Commission and was the chair for both of the city's Bond Advisory and Charter Review Committees. Schaefer is also a U.S. Air Force veteran. He has earned his Master's of Business Administration, a bachelor's degree in Healthcare Administration, and has over 25 years of experience in the healthcare industry. He and his family enjoy spending time at Lake Pleasant or hiking the beautiful trails of Peoria.
Jennifer Crawford was elected in November 2022 to serve the Acacia District. She was also appointed to serve a one-year term as Mayor Pro Tempore in January 2024. She has more than 30 years of business and marketing experience in the private sector. With an emphasis in sales and management, she has operated small businesses, a nonprofit organization, and is currently self-employed as a consultant. With Old Town Peoria within her district, she is passionate about the revitalization of downtown. Her family has lived in Peoria since 2004, with her children attending Zuni Hills Elementary School and graduating from Liberty and Sunrise Mountain High Schools.
Palo Verde Councilmember Michael Finn was elected to City Council in 2014 and re-elected in 2018 and 2022. As a former Chief Financial Officer for the Peoria Unified School District, Finn was responsible for making sound fiscal policies that contributed to the district's success. He also brings over 20 years of additional leadership experience from his time with United Parcel Service and U.S. Airways. His family has lived in Peoria for more than 2 decades and enjoys engaging with the community.
Danette Dunn, who has lived in the Pine District since 2005, was elected by the voters during a special election held in August 2019 to serve on City Council. She was re-elected for a second 4-year term in January 2023 and previously served as vice mayor. Dunn is focused on transportation management and economic development growth for our city. She is the founder of an environmental consulting agency which connects businesses with environmental stewardship, awareness, and social responsibility. She also served in government relations for Republic Services.
Willow District Councilmember John Edwards was first elected in 2012 and re-elected in 2016 and 2020. He is currently serving a term as vice mayor and previously served as mayor pro tempore in 2023. He has served as a program and project manager for a computer services company for nearly 30 years. Edwards serves on a number of boards and committees, including the Maricopa Association of Governments Transportation Policy Committee, the Valley Metro Board of Directors, and the National League of Cities Community and Economic Development Committee. In previous years, he was involved with organizations including Westmark and Homeless Youth Connection. His family has lived in Peoria since 2001, and he believes in open communication and engaging with residents to keep them involved in important city decisions. The City Council meeting will begin shortly. Thank you for watching.
Meet your Peoria Mayor and City Council.
Mayor Jason Beck was elected to a 4-year term in November 2022 and was sworn into office in January 2023. Mayor Beck is a Marine Corps veteran and is the founder and CEO of Tier Tactical, a Peoria-based business that provides body armor and tactical gear to military and first responders worldwide. His focus is on growing economic development citywide, strengthening public safety, and securing Peoria's water future and infrastructure. He is a husband and father to 6 boys.
Councilmember Bill Patena was first elected to the City Council to represent the Ironwood District in 2012 and was re-elected in 2016 and 2020. Councilmember Patena spent the last 18 years of his professional career with the City of Peoria as the Neighborhood Services Manager. In his ongoing service to the city, he maintains a strong interest in building and maintaining healthy neighborhoods and serves as the council liaison to the Veterans Memorial Board. The Patena family has lived in Arizona for over 30 years, with more than 20 of those in Peoria.
Mesquite District Councilmember Brad Schaefer was appointed to the City Council in April 2022 and was elected to the seat by the voters in November that same year. He previously served on the Peoria Planning and Zoning Commission and was the chair for both of the city's bond advisory and charter review committees. Schaefer is also a U.S. Air Force veteran. He has earned his Master's of Business Administration, a bachelor's degree in healthcare administration, and has over 25 years of experience in the healthcare industry. He and his family enjoy spending time at Lake Pleasant or hiking the beautiful trails of Peoria.
Jennifer Crawford was elected in November 2022 to serve the Acacia District. She was also appointed to serve a one-year term as Mayor Pro Tempore in January 2024. She has more than 30 years of business and marketing experience in the private sector. With an emphasis in sales and management, she has operated small businesses, a nonprofit organization, and is currently self-employed as a consultant. With Old Town Peoria within her district, she is passionate about the revitalization of downtown. Her family has lived in Peoria since 2004, with her children attending Zuni Hills Elementary School and graduating from Liberty and Sunrise Mountain High Schools.
Palo Verde Councilmember Michael Finn was elected to City Council in 2014 and re-elected in 2018 and 2022. As a former chief financial officer for the Peoria Unified School District, Finn was responsible for making sound fiscal policies that contributed to the district's success. He also brings over 20 years of additional leadership experience from his time with United Parcel Service and U.S. Airways. His family has lived in Peoria for more than 2 decades and enjoys engaging with the community.
Danette Dunn, who has lived in the Pine District since 2005, was elected by the voters during a special election held in August 2019 to serve on City Council. She was re-elected for a second 4-year term in January 2023 and previously served as vice mayor. Dunn is focused on transportation management and economic development growth for our city. She is the founder of an environmental consulting agency which connects businesses with environmental stewardship, awareness, and social responsibility. She also served in government relations for Republic Services.
Willow District Councilmember John Edwards was first elected in 2012 and re-elected in 2016 and 2020. He is currently serving a term as vice mayor and previously served as mayor pro tempore in 2023. He has served as a program and project manager for a computer services company for nearly 30 years. Edwards serves on a number of boards and committees, including the Maricopa Association of Governments Transportation Policy Committee, the Valley Metro Board of Directors, and the National League of Cities Community and Economic Development Committee. In previous years, he was involved with organizations including Westmark and Homeless Youth Connection. His family has lived in Peoria since 2001, and he believes in open communication and engaging with residents to keep them involved in important city decisions. The City Council meeting will begin shortly. Thank you for watching.
Meet your Peoria Mayor and City Council.
Mayor Jason Beck was elected to a 4-year term in November 2022 and was sworn into office in January 2023. Mayor Beck is a Marine Corps veteran and is the founder and CEO of Tier Tactical, a Peoria-based business that provides body armor and tactical gear to military and first responders worldwide. His focus is on growing economic development citywide, strengthening public safety, and securing Peoria's water future and infrastructure. He is a husband and father to 6 boys.
Councilmember Bill Patena was first elected to the City Council to represent the Ironwood District in 2012 and was re-elected in 2016 and 2020. Councilmember Patena spent the last 18 years of his professional career with the City of Peoria as the Neighborhood Services Manager. In his ongoing service to the city, he maintains a strong interest in building and maintaining healthy neighborhoods and serves as the council liaison to the Veterans Memorial Board. The Patena family has lived in Arizona for over 30 years, with more than 20 of those in Peoria.
Mesquite District Councilmember Brad Schaefer was appointed to the City Council in April 2022 and was elected to the seat by the voters in November that same year. He previously served on the Peoria Planning and Zoning Commission and was the chair for both of the city's bond advisory and charter review committees. Schaefer is also a U.S. Air Force veteran. He has earned his Master's of Business Administration, a bachelor's degree in healthcare administration, and has over 25 years of experience in the healthcare industry. He and his family enjoy spending time at Lake Pleasant or hiking the beautiful trails of Peoria.
Jennifer Crawford was elected in November 2022 to serve the Acacia District. She was also appointed to serve a one-year term as mayor pro tempore in January 2024. She has more than 30 years of business and marketing experience in the private sector. With an emphasis in sales and management, she has operated small businesses, a nonprofit organization, and is currently self-employed as a consultant. With Old Town Peoria within her district, she is passionate about the revitalization of downtown. Her family has lived in Peoria since 2004, with her children attending Zuni Hills Elementary School and graduating from Liberty and Sunrise Mountain High Schools.
Palo Verde Councilmember Michael Finn was elected to City Council in 2014 and re-elected in 2018 and 2022. As a former Chief Financial Officer for the Peoria Unified School District, Finn was responsible for making sound fiscal policies that contributed to the district's success. He also brings over 20 years of additional leadership experience from his time with United Parcel Service and U.S. Airways. His family has lived in Peoria for more than 2 decades and enjoys engaging with the community.
Danette Dunn, who has lived in the Pine District since 2005, was elected by the voters during a special election held in August 2019 to serve on City Council. She was re-elected for a second 4-year term in January 2023 and previously served as vice mayor. Dunn is focused on transportation management and economic development growth for our city. She is the founder of an environmental consulting agency which connects businesses with environmental stewardship, awareness, and social responsibility. She also served in government relations for Republic Services.
Willow District Councilmember John Edwards was first elected in 2012 and re-elected in 2016 and 2020. He is currently serving a term as vice mayor and previously served as mayor pro tempore in 2023. He has served as a program and project manager for a computer services company for nearly 30 years. Edwards serves on a number of boards and committees, including the Maricopa Association of Governments Transportation Policy Committee, the Valley Metro Board of Directors, and the National League of Cities Community and Economic Development Committee. In previous years, he was involved with organizations including Westmark and Homeless Youth Connection. His family has lived in Peoria since 2001, and he believes in open communication and engaging with residents to keep them involved in important city decisions. The City Council meeting will begin shortly. Thank you for watching.
Meet your Peoria Mayor and City Council.
Mayor Jason Beck was elected to a 4-year term in November 2022 and was sworn into office in January 2023. Mayor Beck is a Marine Corps veteran and is the founder and CEO of Tier Tactical, a Peoria-based business that provides body armor and tactical gear to military and first responders worldwide. His focus is on growing economic development citywide, strengthening public safety, and securing Peoria's water future and infrastructure. He is a husband and father to 6 boys.
Councilmember Bill Patena was first elected to the City Council to represent the Ironwood District in 2012 and was re-elected in 2016 and 2020. Councilmember Patena spent the last 18 years of his professional career with the City of Peoria as the Neighborhood Services Manager. In his ongoing service to the city, he maintains a strong interest in building and maintaining healthy neighborhoods and serves as the council liaison to the Veterans Memorial Board. The Patena family has lived in Arizona for over 30 years, with more than 20 of those in Peoria.
Mesquite District Councilmember Brad Schaefer was appointed to the City Council in April 2022 and was elected to the seat by the voters in November that same year. He previously served on the Peoria Planning and Zoning Commission and was the chair for both of the city's Bond Advisory and Charter Review Committees. Schaefer is also a U.S. Air Force veteran. He has earned his master's
please press 1.
I'm going to declare this meeting officially adjourned. And then we have dinner across the way at 5.
To others, please silence all phones. If you would like to address an issue that is on the agenda, or if you would like to speak to the council regarding a non-agenda item, please complete a speaker request form, which can be found in the front lobby of the Peoria City Council chambers or in the tray to the left of the speaker's podium. Please place the completed speaker request form in the second tray to the left of the speaker's podium labeled Request to Speak. All speakers will have 3 minutes to complete their comments. A countdown clock is easily visible on the left side of the wall behind the City Council dais. Only items listed on the agenda may be addressed by the Council. Since items presented as part of a speaker's request have not been listed on the agenda, and due to the requirements of open meeting laws, the Council will be unable to respond to items presented as part of the speaker's request. However, please be aware that your comments will be noted. The speaker's name will be called to speak at the appropriate time, in the order that the forms were received. Thank you for your interest and participation in the Peoria City Council meeting.
Good evening and welcome to the Peoria City Council meeting. I hereby call the meeting of June 18th, 2024 to order. For those of you that are able to stand for the invocation by Pastor Jose Gonzalez from the Church of Christ in Peoria, please remain standing for the singing of our national anthem by Janella Beaver, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful time together. We pray that you give wisdom to our leaders, Lord. Give them the wisdom they need to make the right decisions so you can keep blessing our wonderful city. Bless our families. Bless our first responders, Lord. And may your presence be here in such a special way that we can feel your love and your protection over this city. Bless us in the name of Jesus. Amen. Amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous
fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I'd just like to take a moment and thank Janella for that wonderful rendition. Thank you so much. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Vice Mayor Edwards.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Crawford.
Here.
Councilmember Finn.
Here.
Councilmember Votena.
Here.
Councilmember Dunn.
Here.
Councilmember Schaefer.
Present.
Vice Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. If anybody would like to address the council on a matter, please submit a speaker request form to the clerk so that it can be found at the forms are found at the entrance, and the box is right here in front. Thank you. Okay, so the next item is going to be, presentation. So every year, the city of Peoria offers an opportunity for residents to learn the ins and outs of the city government through the Peoria Leadership Institute. Members meet weekly with staff from various departments and learn about the core operations of the city. I'm excited that tonight we are recognizing the graduates of the 2024 class of the Peoria Leadership Institute. I congratulate all of you and your dedication to the service of Peoria. At this time, I'd like to recognize Mary Lou Loya from the Peoria Office of Communication.
Okay. Thank you, Vice Mayor and council members, for taking time this evening to recognize this year's Peoria Leadership Institute class. It has been my pleasure to lead these dedicated residents over the last 9 weeks, and I also want to thank my colleagues for sharing their department knowledge throughout the program. I am so impressed with the dedication of this year's program attendees, and it is with pleasure that I present them with their graduation certificates. Lorene Bodorf. Tom Bodorf. Thanks, Tim. Stephen Coulter. And Nancy Coulter. Amy Lynch. Thank you. Ellie Swinehart. And Jim Swinehart. Eric Zelaya. Candace Janice. Thanks, Eric. Take care. James Walsh. Thanks, Kim. Thank you. Tom Martinez. Thank you. Mary O'Malley. Thank you. Terry Aranda. Susan Shows. Richard Schmood. Thank you, Richard. Yeah, thank you. Take care. Aaron Joseph. Alicia Engel. Susan Smith. Teddy Todd. Michelle Tennyson. And Bob Tennyson. Jessica Rosa. Danny O'Connor. And Tricia Heller Johnson.
Thank you, Marion. Congratulations to all of you. Next, I would like to recognize our Arts, Cultural, and Library Services Director, Mary Lou Stevens, who will be recognizing the history of the West Valley Art Museum.
Look, I actually had to raise it instead of lower it this time. That's exciting. Good evening, Vice Mayor and Council. I am so pleased to be here this evening to honor the cultural and community impact of the West Valley Art Museum for 44 years as an arts legacy in our state and specifically here in Peoria. For the most recent 14 of those 44 years, we had a partnership with the City of Peoria and the West Valley Art Museum where we had the joy of the gallery right in our City Hall, as well as art exhibits at the Peoria Center for the Performing Arts, and many arts experiences at our Bravo Peoria event and other events throughout our city. They also collaborated with TheaterWorks to create visual arts exhibits that connected with what was being presented on stage, giving patrons a multisensory experience. To name the thousands of individuals that have been a part of this incredible story would take hours, but I will say that all of the volunteers, docents, board members, artists, and the community that had attended each exhibit formed a connection and a bond in our city that will always be with us. The West Valley Art Museum can even boast a few very notable visitors, such as Senator John McCain and Governor Jan Brewer. The legacy of the West Valley Arts Museum is about bringing art to our community in hundreds of creative exhibits and programs and creating a hub for artists like no other. From the highly anticipated annual juried statewide Celebration of Artists celebration of exhibit to numerous exhibits featuring artist groups throughout the state, such as the National Watercolor Society, the Arizona Artists Guild, the Colored Pencil Society, the Contemporary Watercolorists of Arizona, the Clay Artists of Arizona, the Four Corners Fabric Artists, and the Peoria Fine Arts Association, just to name a few. The West Valley Art Museum has been at the forefront of being the place where art is experienced and appreciated, a community asset that is widely known throughout the state of Arizona. Now I'm gonna get emotional because Connie's looking at me, so she needs to stop doing that. Please join me in congratulating the many faces of the West Valley Art Museum present with us today and those who could not be here with us with a round of applause.
You are the only person on the continent.
I will now recognize Vice Mayor Edwards and the council for the presentation of the award to Connie McMillan with the city's gratitude for all that the West Valley Art Museum has meant to this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Lou. To present our token of appreciation on behalf of the city and the council, I'd like to ask Mayor Pro Tem Crawford to come down and say a few words.
Can you hear me? Perfect, thank you. On behalf of Mayor and Council, I would like to thank Ms. Connie McMillan for all of the dedicated individuals that have made the West Valley Art Museum a key arts destination for residents and visitors to Peoria. The closing of the City Hall Gallery is only the end of one chapter, as the West Valley Art Museum will most certainly find new ways to be a hub for future creatives. We are also very excited about the plans for the redevelopment of downtown Peoria. Plans are started to convert our historic Central Schoolhouse that is on the National Registry of Historic Places into an arts and culture center to showcase the rich history of Peoria and continue to celebrate our exciting future. Stay tuned for updates as we create this exciting new arts destination in the heart of our downtown and Old Town core, Peoria. And thank you so much, Ms. McMillan. Thank you for being here. And I would like you to say a few words while you're up here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Crawford. Nice to see you. And Vice Mayor John Edwards, nice to speak to you earlier. Thank you, all of those on the council. Our city manager, Mr. Darwin, I have yet to meet you in person, but I am only standing, well, we'll change that, won't we? I'm standing here representing all those people involved with and past and now with the West Valley Art Museum. As I said, we have a 44-year history, the last 14 happily in Peoria, who came our rescue at a tough time. But I want to thank and show gratitude, not by naming everybody, because I couldn't possibly do that, but I must say, not only all the people in Mary Lou's Department of Arts and Culture and people before her over in DCSB, maintenance, facilities, the clerk's office, over the years and different times, we share across the hallway in City Hall. So we share, once in a while, a few cookies, too. But the museum would not be and not have existed were it not for the volunteers, the hundreds of them, that served us over the years. And once we came in Peoria, it was all volunteers, and we gained new volunteers and friends living in Peoria and elsewhere. But all good things must come to an end. So most of our collection has now gone around the world, other parts of the US, around Arizona. We still have an office not on Peoria property up on 83rd near Thunderbird in a business complex. And who knows, you know, we might do the odd program or something because you just don't shut down in 5 minutes. But we are so blessed and grateful to have had Peoria, I'll say, rescue us years ago when we were desperate for where we could put the collection and the art. And who knew? So the hundreds and thousands of people that have come through our doors, and some of you, all of these people that were acknowledged from the leadership group. And we know even in that history, the tie-in with the Peoria Friends of the Public Library, there are several people here tonight with them, and TheaterWorks and the Peoria Center for the Performing Arts. We've always had a strong relationship of art in the building, collaborate, and great shows, and even some grants we had that supported musical programs of their theater. They have a couple of people here today. The president of their board of trustees is here. You know, I could go on, and I shouldn't because there's other things on the agenda. But I am just the spokesman for all these people, past, present, future, the thousands of artists. We know museums, arts, cultures are important all the way around. We are the only museum in the United States founded in an active retirement community, and we so enjoyed the blessings of being in Peoria. So thank you, thank you, thank you profusely.
Oh, geez, how do you top that? Okay.
One
so-
quick announcement, thank you.
Absolutely.
Those of you that are here with the West Valley Art Museum, you will be assembling for a photo on the steps of the council hall chambers. So don't leave for your late night dinner and margaritas until you do that. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to now move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda, all items on the consent agenda are routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion unless a request for removal has been received prior to the meeting. There have been no requests. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second. Please vote.
Councilmember Dunn, how do you vote?
Yes.
Motion passes.
And it's unanimous. Thank you. Okay. We're now going to move on to the regular agenda. These are items that are new in business. I will now recognize Assistant City Manager Rick Buss to introduce items 25R.
All right. Thank you, Vice Mayor. If you might have noticed, I am not Henry Darwin. So our city manager went home sick, so we've pinch hitting for him this evening. Vice Mayor, Council, next item addresses water security, which of course is one of the top priority items of the Council. Deputy City Manager Kevin Burke, Water Services Director David Burks, along with Brett Fleck, Water Resources Manager, and Chris Stern, Civil Engineer, will present a property agreement for council approval between the city and the Roman Catholic Diocese of Phoenix for the construction of a well field and the ongoing efforts to secure water resources for the future. Take it away, Kevin.
Vice Mayor, members of council, thanks for the time this evening. When we talk about water security, this is the project that we've been talking about. This is the idea of putting new wells in the ground in north central Peoria that prepares us for more uncertainty in the water world and makes us more resilient to that end. And so this is a foundational piece tonight that keeps us going in the right direction, gives us access to water rights we already enjoy, but delivering that water in the right location and at the right time. And so for that, I'm going to turn it over to the experts, starting with our Water Services Director, Mr. Dave Burks.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. Good evening, Vice Mayor and Council. On behalf of Water Services, we'd like to thank you for the opportunity to present to you this evening. So this evening, we're going to start out giving you a quick update on our current water status. Additionally, we have an agreement in front of you for which we are requesting council approval for the exchange of property agreement with the Roman Catholic Diocese of Phoenix. If you say that too fast, it doesn't quite come out right. So this is located in northern Peoria. I have with me this evening Mr. Brett Fleck, our Water Resources Manager, who will update you on our current water status. In addition, I have with me Chris Stern, our civil engineer, who will explain the exchange of property agreement with the Catholic Diocese of Phoenix. And Chris is also the project manager on this project, so please, if you have any questions at the end of this, reach out to him. At this point, we'll turn it over to Mr. Brett Fleck.
Vice Mayor and Council, thanks for having me tonight. Thanks, David. As David said, I'm going to be providing a very brief update on water supply conditions because you probably haven't been following in the news. Right now, we are in a Tier 1 shortage for the Colorado River, and thankfully for the city of Peoria, that means that there are no mandatory cuts. If you look at that ugly-looking table from the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation on the right, you'll notice the two highlighted numbers. The total system contents in all of the reservoirs in the Colorado River Basin combined is at 43% right now. And last year at this time, it was at 41%. So we've held steady thanks to some aggressive conservation measures, in part funded by the federal government. Peoria participated in that. We left 7,200 acre feet on Lake Mead this last year and this year going forward. While that's good that we held steady, it is still historically low in the 40%. One other thing that I want to bring to your attention, I've mentioned this to council before, but it keeps happening, so I want to bring it up. And on that second table on the bottom, you'll note that at the very bottom, that yellow number, 99%, water year precipitation to date. So from this last October through the winter to now, precipitation was more or less normal, right around 100%. The spring runoff, those other two numbers, are 81 and 80%. So what we've been seeing in the last number of years is 100% or 120% runoff snowpack turn into a runoff that's 20, 25, 30% less. And that's attributed to drought, climate change, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it. And that's a concerning pattern we've seen because folks say, hey, if we get back to normal, if we get out of the drought, we'll get 100% runoff. But you can see that we have 100% snowpack or 99% snowpack, and you get 81% runoff. So that's something to keep in mind. Looking at the Southwest in general, first I want to go down to something a little more local, Salt River Project. So Salt River Project had 103% median runoff this last spring, so essentially right on to normal. The system is less full than it was last year at 89% of total content. A year ago it was at 97% after that massive winter we had 2 years ago. We're still in great shape. We'll get our full allocation from SRP in the coming year. And then something that folks don't often keep in the front of their mind is that what happens in California affects Arizona from a water supply standpoint. So when their reservoirs are low, they have to rely on the Colorado River to help supplement their statewide supply. If you can see on the chart on the right, their reservoirs are chock full. And so that's a good thing for us. It takes pressure off the Colorado River and puts a little bit less fire under those negotiations that are already contentious enough. So I want to just take this last slide before I hand it over to Chris here and talk about the next years that are coming ahead. So this chart on the right is done in May by the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation, and it takes a look at where we are right now as far as what's in Lake Mead, and then it runs forward a number of scenarios based on future snowpacks of what's happened in the past. So if you take the snowpacks of 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, and then you layer them on this, you get one future. You do that over and over and over again, and you get this plot. So as a water resources manager, I'm concerned about the ones on the bottom, the ones where we have less water supply. So looking forward, some takeaways from this chart. 2024, like I said, we're in a Tier 1. We're in good shape. There's no mandatory cuts for us. 2025 is looking the same way. It looks almost a guarantee, very near a guarantee that we'll be in a Tier 1 shortage. 2026 is looking okay right now. It's a little bit early to tell, but still looking like a Tier 1 or Tier 2 shortage, which would be manageable for Peoria. The key takeaway here is that back-to-back hot and dry winters are really all it takes to set us on a pretty negative trajectory. So we're always that 2 or 3 years away from having to make some adjustments. And that's where tonight's discussion comes in, right? So we need some wells online in 2027 to help protect against the lowest line on there, those worst case scenarios, the driest scenarios. And so as David mentioned and Kevin mentioned, those wells will recover water that was previously stored underground for just this purpose. So we're taking a look at the forecast, we're making our judgment, we're trying to be conservative, and we're planning ahead. I mean, that's what Peoria does best. So I'll pass it to Chris.
All right, thank you, Brett. Good evening, Vice Mayor and Council. I'm going to give a brief project overview and status update before discussing the details of the agreement with the Catholic Diocese of Phoenix. The future well field is generally located southwest of the intersection of the Cap Canal and Lake Pleasant Parkway. The project will construct 5 new wells and piping between each of the well sites. 2 of the well sites, which we are discussing tonight, are located on property owned by the Roman Catholic Diocese of Phoenix. The remaining 3 are located on state trust land. A parallel project being managed by the Development and Engineering Department will construct a reservoir and booster pump station to deliver a new water supply to the system. These projects are crucial to secure a new groundwater source for system redundancy and to prepare for future growth in the northern part of the city. The project is progressing as follows. Pre-design services, including exploratory drilling, were previously approved by Council in November of 2022 and were completed last year. Final design and pre-construction services started in July of 2023 and are scheduled for completion this fall. Long lead equipment purchases and well drilling are scheduled to start next month and are scheduled for completion at the end of next year. The schedule for the future phases of the project, however, will be determined once the remaining well site locations are approved by the Arizona State Land Department. So the agreement with the Roman Catholic Diocese of Phoenix deeds property to the city in exchange for access to the city's water supply. The agreement specifically grants the city property to construct and maintain 2 well sites in the locations shown on the right. It grants the city an easement to construct a water line between the 2 well sites. And it also grants the city a roadway and public utility easement along the north end of the diocese property. Finally, the agreement grants the diocese access to receive water service from the new water line. And the terms of the agreement have been agreed to by both parties. As shown in the figure, the new wells, annotated as well site number 1 and well site number 2, will be located at the southwest and northeast corners of the diocese property. The water line easement runs along the future Ashler Hills Road alignment from well site number 2 and up the center of the property to the 40-foot roadway and public utility easement. The roadway and public utility easement will be located along the entire northern boundary of the diocese property. This agreement will benefit both the city and the diocese. It essentially allows the city to fast-track the drilling and equipping of 2 wells on the well field, while working through the longer process of obtaining right-of-way from the State Land Department for the remaining 3 wells. The diocese benefits by obtaining early access to the city's water supply. It saves them from waiting for the development of the infrastructure in Lake Pleasant Parkway and having to extend utilities to their site. So in conclusion, the action item for council tonight is to approve item 24R, the property agreement with the Roman Catholic Diocese of Phoenix. So staff recommends that Vice Mayor and Council approve the exchange of property agreement with the Catholic Diocese of Phoenix to allow for the expedited drilling and equipping of 2 wells in the CAP LPP well field. With that, we will now take any questions you have for us.
Anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Just a curiosity question. The 3 wells that are on the state trust land, are those currently active? Are we using them or not yet?
Those are not constructed yet. We're still going through the right-of-way process with
Okay.
the State Land Department.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Brett, some good news, given the current situations on the river. A couple questions. Chris, thank you so much for walking through the agreement. I read the agreement, and it seems pretty straightforward. And based upon what you shared and what I read, I just want to be clear. So basically, Peoria gets land access to the wells, so 2 sites, 302 and 305. And then in return, the diocese will get the potable water from the city of Peoria, basically infrastructure. Is that correct?
Yes, Councilmember Schaefer, that's correct. The diocese will still pay for the water at the standard rate. They just get early access to the water. It allows them to have access to that water.
Perfect. Thank you, Chris. And then one last question. I know canal and groundwater is different, right? I completely understand that. It's great that we're adding to our groundwater water. It's right next to the CAP. Any questions, concerns from CAP at all with us putting in these wells? I just want to make sure that.
Vice Mayor, Councilmember Schaefer, this is definitely a partnership that we're in discussions with them. We've been talking to them for the past 9 months about that, and we will continue to talk with them about the location and the operation of those pumps.
Good. Thank you, Kevin. I saw on the map, and I was like, okay, that's just a stone's throw away
Yeah,
from the canal.
We're partners on this.
Good. Thank you. That's it.
Any question? Councilmember Dunn, any questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, no other questions. Can I get a motion to approve 25R?
Move to approve.
In a second? Okay, I'll vote.
Councilmember Dunn, how do you vote?
Yes.
Motion passes.
And it passes 6-0. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Okay, I will now recognize Assistant City Manager Rick Buss to introduce the next items of 26R and 27R.
Thank you, Vice Mayor and Council. I'm going to pass this off to me. So I'm going to go down to that because I think it's easier to present down there. Okay. All right, Vice Mayor and Council, the next two items we've consolidated into one presentation. So again, one presentation, but we'll need two votes, both on 26R and 27R. And those are the two agenda items. Okay, so both agenda items apply to a foreign trade zone application that is being submitted by Amcor. So a lot of people ask, what is a foreign trade zone? So a quick history. The Foreign Trade Zone Act was enabled in 1934, commonly referred to as the FTZ Act. And the idea is that it was enacted to expedite and encourage international trade. It was a response to Smoot-Hawley tariffs of 1930. So some history is Smoot-Hawley tariffs after the Great Depression adopted a policy of isolationism and said raise tariffs on all American products. The problem with that is that you can export and sell it to anybody else because it's too expensive. So this was the counterbalance, and it's been in effect since 1934. FTZs have special customs procedures for exports. Foreign merchandise is entering foreign FTZs are re-exported as different products' custom procedures are streamlined and tariffs do not apply. For products intended for the U.S. consumption, full custom procedures applied and duties are payable when they exit the FTZ. So the idea is that if you're going to bring a lot of component parts into a manufacturing assembly situation, you're not getting dinged every time on a tariff because that raises the prices, and then you get dinged again on the way out. So that's the idea behind foreign trade zones. The granting authority is twofold. The Foreign Trade Zone Board approves what's called the establishment of a foreign trade zone, and the U.S. Customs and Border Protection must also activate the zone. So you have to have two approvals at the federal level. It's not a city level or a state level or a county level. It is a federal program. There's two different types. There's a magnet site, and then there's a usage site or a site-specific site. A magnet site would be, probably the best analogy would be an industrial park. And you got multiple companies within that geographic area. Everybody would qualify to be at an FTZ. Amcor is a usage-specific. It only applies to Amcor. So there's no other cities around it. So their application is on. That's the most common. In the West Valley, I think there's two magnet sites. I think one in Glendale and one in Goodyear. But that's what they're applying for. And I put up there that the automobile industry has used foreign trade zones for years. So the example is, auto parts typically, when you build a car, they're crossing the border 7 to 8 times. And so the FTZs keep the parts from being tariffed each time they cross the border, as I mentioned before. That ultimately keeps the cost down for the consumer. So if you have, a drive shaft that goes across the border and whether it goes into Canada or it goes into Mexico, comes back, you don't want to be adding tax every time because all of a sudden now you've just stacked the costs and they continue to raise and the cost gets out of control for the consumer. A lot of companies use it, so I just grabbed a few relevant examples. I thought obviously TSMC has been a grantee of a foreign trade zone, Intel, Microchip, LG Energy, and Queen Creek, Honeywell, Abbott Labs, Medical, and even Cooks and Doors and Anderson Walls, because they bring in a lot of products and assemble, and then they go back out. Core Power, which is a renewable energy manufacturer, Sub-Zero, even Dick's Sporting Goods. So they're used for a variety of different industries, and I think there's a little over 50 in the greater Maricopa area. Okay, so what's Peoria's role? So our role in this is to support the application. We do not approve the application. This is a long process that AMCOR has to go through, and again, they need 2 approvals at the federal level, so we're not approving anything. But if you remember when Council unanimously approved the development agreement for AMCOR, there was a section in there, 4.2.6, that essentially says we will support and assist, give reasonable assistance to their application process. AMCOR remains fully responsible for their process, okay? So I won't read that whole thing because it's fairly boring. Okay, again, AMCOR is responsible for the entire application process. So AMCOR really had 2 choices for a foreign trade zone. They could have went to the Greater Maricopa Foreign Trade Zone, which is Foreign Trade Zone number 277. It's called a subzone. Or they could have went to the Foreign Trade Zone Phoenix, which is number 75. They chose, in their development agreement, they chose to go with the Phoenix FTZ. Totally their choice. We don't have any say-so. Peoria doesn't have the authority to grant or establish a foreign trade zone. We're not a grantee of you. So Phoenix went to Phoenix. Phoenix says, sure, we're willing to submit an application to the FTZ board on behalf of AMCOR. To do that, they wanted 2 things. One, intergovernmental agreements, or an IGA, which is agenda item, well, it's not 12C, it's 25R. And then the resolution of support that says, hey, we're going to support it. That resolution actually becomes an attachment to the IGA. And within the IGA, in your packet, it'll say, all of this is at no cost or liability to either Phoenix or Peoria. And I said I'd try to get this done in 5 to 7 minutes. I don't know how I'm doing, Emily. And I'm also taking Councilmember Finn's pep talk he gave me beforehand, so we'll just keep that between us. So, and our recommendations is to approve both items, and open for any questions that hopefully I can answer.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Rick, thanks for the presentation. Have a few questions. You talked about that there's 50 foreign trade zones in Maricopa County, plus or minus. Do we have any in the city of Peoria today, or would this be the first?
Yes, if I recall, Maxwell Technology, which is now Tesla, there are usage-driven foreign trade zone. Off the top of my head, that was one.
Okay, great. No, thanks, Rick. And then I understand that it applies to the tariffs, or the tariffs don't apply on the exports. So here's my question: is there any loss to revenue to the city of Peoria through any tariffs or taxes or anything with this foreign trade zone?
Vice Mayor, Councilman Schaefer, no, they're federal tariffs.
Okay.
So, and again, once it's all assembled, so everything comes in assembled, you still get taxed on the way out, but it's on the entire thing. So again, instead of getting taxed for each little component item that goes in, which raises up the total value, you assemble everything, lower costs, and then you get taxed on the way out. What that means to the consumer ultimately is that cost is lower.
Right. Okay, great. So no financial impact to the city of Peoria, but to the consumer, a lower cost product.
Yeah, federal tariffs, yeah.
Perfect. And then lastly, this is only applicable to the AMCOR site and no other sites. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks, Rick. Thanks, Vice Mayor.
Any other questions? Okay. Can I get a motion on 26R?
I move to approve 26R.
Second, I'll vote.
Councilmember Dunn, how do you vote?
Yes.
Motion passes.
And it passes unanimously. And does anybody have any other questions on 27? Okay, so I'll ask for a vote on 27R, our motion.
Vice Mayor Edwards, I move to approve item 27R.
Second.
Okay, everybody vote.
Councilmember Dunn, how do you vote?
Yes.
Motion passes.
And motion carries. Thank you, everybody. Okay. Next on the agenda is the call to the public. As a reminder, each speaker will direct his or her comments to the members of the governing body and not to any individual member other than individuals present. Each speaker will refrain from personal attacks, foul or abusive language, and will refrain from maintain a civil and courteous manner and tone. Members of the audience will respect the rights of others and not create noise or other disturbances that will disrupt the meeting. I have one speaker request form for Mr. Jeff W. You have, if you can state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes.
I guess to start for the record, it's going to be Jeff Worsley, W-O-R-S-L-E-Y. Address is 8177 West Harmony Lane, Peoria. All right, good evening, members of the council, Vice Mayor. In light of the recent Phoenix and DOJ report, I believe it's imperative for Peoria to take a better proactive measure to address these issues with our community. I propose that we focus on enhanced training, hear me out, it's not expensive, for our officers, particularly around the Fourth Amendment. This training should just emphasize the proper protocols for search and the necessary of reasonable suspicion or probable cause before obtaining personal information. It is crucial that our police department moves beyond relying solely on the boilerplate training and city policies provided by the Arizona Peace Officer Standards. It's clearly failed Phoenix. I mean, as far as just relying on those. Simple daily training of the constitutional rights and departmental policies can greatly enhance our officers' effectiveness, accountability, and risk assessment. Most importantly, risk assessment for us. This is a, quote, word of the day style briefing. Costs us absolutely nothing and could save the city a significant amount of money in potential payouts for violations, as well as enrich the officers. This is their duty. They should know these things anyway, or at least uphold to them. As a veteran, I can tell you my general orders and the majority of the Constitution rights because that was a critical role for me. I swore to the same oath, the U.S. Constitution and the Arizona Constitution. I was National Guard, as did our officers. So to protect the citizens of the United States and the residents of Arizona, providing officers with a small book of the Arizona and U.S. Constitution for reference during idle times, of which I'm sure they get every now and then, will reinforce the training and just come at practically no cost other than the paper. Our officers should prioritize responding to actual crimes rather than actively looking for them. I understand that, yes, looking is a priority, but we have plenty of crime out there. They can just respond to those. I'm saying emphasize on the priority. This approach will help improve response times and ensure our resources are used effectively to protect the community. The current policy of multiple officers responding to a non-critical situation often leads to an excessive force or unnecessary resource allocation. As a software engineer, I understand that how simple it is to implement systems for accountability. Any software can have a simple hook. A hook is nothing more than if an action happens, it hears that action and something occurs after that, as well as the original procedure or function. To log every search with a timestamp. In light of the fact that we are working on a real-time crime unit, this is going to be an issue with automatic license plate readers and things like that. It'll be more of a poison fruit of the tree.
Vice Mayor, that's it for his time.
Yeah, I'll do it next time. Thanks.
Thank you so much for your time. Okay, next would be City Manager report. So, Mr. Buss.
Thank you, Vice Mayor and Council. Very short City Manager's report, so I'm sure everybody's pleased about that. Just a quick reminder that the Air Park webinar is coming up here on Thursday, June 27th at 6:30 p.m. Again, we do ask that you send in your questions ahead of time so that we can be prepared to answer all the questions that the public might have. I'd say so far we've probably had, I don't know, probably 30 or 40 questions that have come in so far, so we do appreciate that because we want to answer all of your questions. So just a quick reminder on that. A little bit of park parity news. If you've been down Monroe recently, you'll notice that our park staff recently completed the replacement of the playground equipment at Monroe and Park. The project included the following improvements. It's combining 2 to 5 and 5 to 12 year-old playgrounds into a custom 2 to 12-year center stage playground system. Pretty sure Calcaterra wrote this for me, so I can't pronounce it very well. Also installed a new swing set with traditional swings, tot bucket seats, and a generational swing set. And improvements to fall protection, including new pour and play surfacing and engineered wood fiber and there's some inclusive play elements, including a double-sided sensory garden. So Chris and your team did a great job on this. I drove by it the other day. It looks great. So, and recently we had some more employee spot awards, and most of you that have been here for a while will recognize Patricia Rodriguez. So City Manager Henry Darwin honored Peoria lead custodian Patricia Rodriguez with the City Manager Spot Award, and as he puts in here, and a crisp $100, for her display of human kindness and compassion. This recognition was given to Patricia for exemplifying the value of responsive, one of city's Peoria values. On June 10th, Patricia came across a man in distress in the restroom at Centennial Plaza. She immediately called for help and potentially saved his life as he was experiencing an overdose due to drug use. Sergeant Shelley Montez with the Peoria Police Department shared that her quick thinking and actions were instrumental in providing aid to this individual. Sergeant Montez stated that Patricia is always willing to help and assist, and she's appreciated by all of us at the police department. So thank you from the police department to Patricia. Public Works Director Rhonda Humbles also expressed her gratitude towards Patricia, saying, "This is pretty unbelievable that you were there at the right time to help this person. Thank you for your quick action and response." Patricia has been a member of the team of Peoria for approximately 11 years, is known for a caring nature and hardworking attitude. William Beloy, Public Works Facilities Manager, shared, in this situation, she immediately assisted without hesitation, which is a true testament to her character. And thank you, Patricia, for your ongoing and beyond to help this man. So, I mean, it's a great story. I've known her for a while. She's just a spectacular human being, and she saved a life. So, and then she just went about her business. So she's just, you know, really just a special human being. And lastly, just a reminder that we have the Independence Day celebration coming up. It'll be held at the main stadium of Peoria Sports Complex. I'm pretty sure Calcutta is going to shoot off some fireworks there. So there's some more information at the Peoria Government Events. Vice Mayor, Council, that's all I have.
You are the only